Crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right.
Candace Parker just voiced what Caitlin Clark's supporters have been saying all season long. And it's exactly the kind of message the WNBA's longtime power players didn't want getting out. More importantly, it's something the league, especially the commissioner, needs to hear. Many hoped a new season would bring a healthier attitude toward Caitlin and the fans she's brought in, but instead things have escalated. The resentment is louder, the hostility more obvious, and the double standards harder to ignore. Then Candace stepped in. A true WNBA legend delivering straightforward common sense that slices through all the noise. Statements like this force perspective. Maybe now someone finally listens. Because if this season has proven anything, it's that the more Caitlin succeeds, the more chaotic and self-defeating the league's response becomes. Let's unpack what Candace said, because it may be the calmest, yet most devastating response to Caitlin Clark critics and the old guard alike. And before we jump in, hit like on the video. Every like equals one tissue for the haters. They're going to need it. And make sure you subscribe for more Caitlin Clark and Fever updates. Now, why is Candace speaking up at this moment, and why does it matter? Here's the core reason. Interview
for a horrible team when she arrived. Outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close.
WNBA is experiencing explosive growth right now. And the driving force is Caitlin Clark. That's no secret anymore. She isn't just the most popular player the league has ever seen. She may be the most popular athlete in the country, period. Last season made that clear. Ratings surged, arenas filled, merchandise sold out. Every data point pointed to the same conclusion: Caitlin moves the needle in a way no one else ever has. And this season, that momentum hasn't slowed, it's accelerating. More sellouts, more records. The Caitlin Clark effect is only getting stronger.
It is the second highest viewership, which is like average viewership. However, it was the highest peak of any game ever on CBS.
Fans are tuning in at unprecedented levels to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever. It started with 1.3 million viewers for a preseason exhibition against Brazil, a number many regular season games never reach. Then the season opener against the Sky averaged 2.7 million viewers, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. Not long after, her matchup with the Liberty peaked at 3.3 million viewers. Then the injury happened and everything shifted instantly.
And now that Caitlin Clark is injured, the ticket prices for the Fever and Sky game just plummeted to Hades.
Caitlin. Ticket prices for Fever games dropped by as much as 300%. While Indiana's fan base has continued to show up in ratings, more on that shortly, the rest of the league saw a major drop-off. This should have been a wake-up call across the board. Players, executives, and league leadership all needed to pay attention. Caitlin Clark is projected to generate over $1 billion in league revenue this year alone. That means the WNBA is one serious Caitlin Clark injury away from losing its momentum entirely. So those future CBA dollars some players are counting on, that leverage disappears without her. And yet, the league keeps undermining itself. Instead of embracing the reality of what's fueling this growth, leadership twists the narrative, crediting everything except the obvious. Rather than focusing on basketball success, the conversation keeps getting dragged elsewhere.
The loudest mics, like I stated, are the ones that's race baiting. Not even bringing up the names, but all the people that I'm seeing that are tied within the WNBA media, coaches, all type of things. They are very resentful of Caitlin Clark, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense when you have somebody that's doing what she's doing for the WNBA.
And we're barely into the season. Already it's been mistake after mistake in how Caitlin and her supporters have been treated. It took one game for things to spiral. After the opener against Chicago, the league launched an investigation over alleged hate speech that ultimately amounted to nothing. But the damage was done. Instead of celebrating a historic debut and a landmark moment for the league, the spotlight shifted to controversy. Basketball was no longer the story. Caitlin Clark and her fans were once again pulled into a narrative that had nothing to do with what happened on the court.
You even though it's 100% false, by acknowledging we don't condone hate and not seeing that this was a internet rumor founded of complete bullshit, you're lending credence to this. There was none of that.
Out of that chaos came claims that Indianapolis was unsafe and that Caitlin's fan base was toxic. Some people even called for the All-Star game to be moved. Others demanded bans over heckling incidents. Meanwhile, the league stayed silent about the very real hate being directed at Caitlyn and the Fever. No statements, no public support, nothing. The discourse went far beyond basketball criticism. What was being said, especially about Caitlyn, crossed into threatening and hateful territory.
Kind of stuff that's being said to them, the stuff that's being said to Kelsey Mitchell, the kind of things that are being said to Natasha Howard are actually wild. People have taken a photo of these women and circled a bullseye on them and have said, "It's on site when I see you." Those are actual threats.
Weren't harmless comments. They were serious, targeted attacks, exactly the kind of behavior the league claims it stands against. Yet there was no condemnation, no defense, no protection. And it only escalated. Now fans online are accusing Caitlyn of using her assistant coach's baby as a publicity prop.
Caitlin Clark is getting some of the grossest, most morbid comments, racist, hateful. We're talking the cup runneth over with hate. Here, Kathy Engelbert, you're no space for hate? Where are you right now?
She's being attacked for holding a baby. That's how far the discourse has fallen. What started as criticism has turned into conspiracy, and the league still hasn't spoken up. Despite sold-out crowds and record-breaking numbers, there remains resistance to acknowledging her impact. And that resistance starts at the very top.
Kathy Engelbert, in this long, drawn-out article, goes on and gives herself credit for why the WNBA has finally entered some type of mainstream conversation.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert even authored a piece for Harvard Business Review where she went out of her way to spread credit everywhere except where it clearly belongs. Coaches, players, marketing departments, front offices, everyone was praised. But Caitlyn Clark's role was barely emphasized at all.
Observers, our organization's success might seem overnight and even lucky, prepared by a singularly exceptional group of college players coming into the WNBA. However, we could not have capitalized on those advantages without years of hard work and preparation. Years of hard work and preparation. It might have seemed like it came overnight.
In fact, Caitlyn's influence was diluted almost entirely. In the article, Engelbert grouped Caitlyn with Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, noting that rookie-led games averaged 1.2 million viewers. But let's be honest, those numbers came from Caitlyn's games. Everyone knows it. Yet because parts of the old guard can't accept her dominance, credit is constantly redirected away from her.
They just can't. They just can't not even wrap their head around. They can't just accept, okay, this person is more popular than me, or this person is more popular than the player that we want to push.
Jealousy on its own is human, but this goes beyond that. There's a persistent effort to tear Caitlyn down to elevate others. And far too often, race is used as a convenient explanation for her popularity, ignoring the reality of her accomplishments, dozens of broken records, all-star honors, MVP votes, and a playoff run with a struggling team in her rookie year. Whether people admit it or not, Caitlyn Clark's success benefits everyone. When the spotlight is on her, it illuminates the entire league.
Where there are 15 to 20,000 people in the stands, they are in front of people that they haven't been in front of before. That is an opportunity for all of us fans to get to know all the players on the court, all of the players in the WNBA, to pick new favorite players, to pick other teams that we want to follow along.
And legends have noticed. People who helped build this league understand what's at stake. Lisa Leslie, a Hall of Famer, called out the jealousy surrounding Caitlyn Clark and effectively shut down the argument.
I think it's all about money, marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlyn Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect, called the Caitlyn Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlyn Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television?
The resistance hasn't stopped. Once again, the league needed a reality check, and that message could only come from someone who truly understands how rare this moment is. Enter Candace Parker, 3-time champion, 2-time MVP, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, one of the most respected minds the WNBA has ever had. This week, she joined Stephen A. Smith on First Take and addressed the issue head-on.
Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that there were an abundance of women in the WNBA doing tremendous work on behalf of the WNBA and the game of basketball, and you just sense that folks were feeling an absence of appreciation.
Stephen A., to his credit, hasn't shied away from calling out the jealousy. He sees it, fans see it, anyone watching can feel it. On the show, he directly challenged Nika Collier's frustration about Caitlyn receiving more nationally televised games.
Named Michael Jordan came along. And Michael Jordan came along and he wasn't yet winning championships, but his popularity was so astronomical that the NBA practically marketed everything they could around this guy. So to know that there's an example like that as a shining example to be followed that could benefit the league, particularly down the road, why is that an issue when we've seen that such a marketing plan has worked in the past?
This wasn't a friendly setup. There was real pushback. No fluff, no dodging. Just the core issue laid bare.
Can you speak to that collective frustration that some may have been feeling, and whether or not you think it's something that's being overcome as you all thrive and move forward and continue to promote and uplift this league?
And Candace delivered one of the most grounded, intelligent responses yet. The kind of answer that made Caitlin Clark fans everywhere nod in agreement.
It's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now. My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. You think Cheryl Miller is resentful for me that I had a league to play in? No, she's being the mentor that she is, and she's supporting and loving and sitting courtside cheering on Juju Watkins, and I'm doing the same for Caitlin Clark and all the women in the WNBA.
It was a masterclass in perspective. Candace revealed that she's frequently asked whether she's resentful of Caitlin Clark, a question that alone shows how deep the jealousy runs. But her response set the standard. It's not about being threatened by the next star. It's about building the game so it's ready for them. You don't minimize Caitlin. You don't dismiss her success. You support her because it elevates everyone. Candace also made it clear, without saying it outright, that race-based narratives are undermining Caitlyn's rise and harming the league.
Played Russell Westbrook, and they bumped shoulders and everybody was tuned in, but I want to keep it within the lines of the game. And I think that's what's the most important. Now everybody has a Twitter finger, everybody can have reach to, the WNBA and make comments, but really the key is let's keep it about basketball. That's my thing, and when we do that, then we're able to really grow the game and what it represents.
That message should be loud and clear. Keep it about basketball. These race-driven talking points aren't helping the league grow. They're making it look divided and self-destructive during the biggest opportunity it's ever had.
The narrative that it's a white and black thing going on, and now that toxic energy is spilling over to people who don't even watch the games. So now they feel like they are a part of the league just because they know or feel like they know what's going on with the race thing. Like, cut it out, man. You all want the league to grow, but you all saying keep it about basketball, but y'all not keeping it about basketball. I don't get it.
Caitlin Clark has done is play the game at an elite level and deliver what fans show up for. She's grown the sport without tearing anyone down. She's consistently shown respect to the legends before her, praised teammates, credited opponents, and handled success with humility. She's lifting the entire league. Just listen to what Lisa Leslie said about Caitlyn's respect for the game's pioneers.
And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that.
That's coming from someone who helped build the WNBA. Now Candace Parker is reinforcing the same principle, leave the game better than you found it. That's how each generation carries the torch, from Bird and Magic to Jordan, then Kobe and LeBron, and now the next wave.
All of those players, the Dr. J's and all that stuff, I don't think they're not salty that MJ came along and grew the game. I mean, that's what it is.
Candace also made it clear why the league needs to get its act together. This moment isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about the future.
The NBA as a whole is in an amazing place. Now it's about business to me.
End of the day, this is business. And Caitlin Clark is great for business.
And your biggest hurdle is getting people to sample the product. She's a godsend. There's no denying it.
One who thinks players hold leverage going into the next CBA without Caitlin just got a reality check when she went down. And remember those Fever ratings?
851,000 viewers. becoming the most viewed WNBA game on ION this season, despite Caitlin Clark's absence.
Indiana is still drawing strong numbers even without Caitlin. Not her usual level, but that's the point. The Caitlin Clark effect is spreading, first to the Fever and eventually, if handled correctly, to the entire league. But it takes time. Cultural shifts don't happen overnight. This is the most critical growth window the WNBA has ever had, and it can't afford to squander it. That means welcoming new fans, celebrating the star driving the surge, and protecting her on the court. Better officiating, fair enforcement. You can't let your golden goose take hits without consequences. Voices like Candace Parker's are what keep this ecosystem from collapsing. The real question now is whether the league will finally learn, or whether its refusal to embrace Caitlin Clark and the millions she's brought with her will hold it back for good. If you made it this far, drop a goat in the comments because that's exactly what you are. Thanks for watching. See you next time.